Hello, also Lime Works here, and today we're going to be looking at a simple way to make insulating lime plaster with some pretty basic hand tools and essentially one order off of the internet. Every material that I'm using here today is either available at your local builders merchants or from Cornish lime or any specific lime supplier. There's nothing too special in what we're going to be doing here today. Now, what I would like to say is that there are many things that we can add to lime plaster to make it work in the way in which we want it to work. We can increase its strength, decrease its strength, we can increase its insulating value, we can decrease its insulating value. Knowing what to use where takes a heck of a long time to learn and is a skill in and of itself, so don't watch one YouTube video and think you know how to do it all. But what I noticed when I was learning this stuff is it's very, very difficult to find sort of step one, square one, and then grow off of that. So that's what this is for. This is ideal for doing a bit of patching in, perhaps insulating something like a terraced house. I'm actually using this on an 1840s stone built cottage, so it's got a wide variety of uses. But again, the knowing what, where and why is quite difficult. But if you've got a decent understanding of how to trowel with gypsum and how to work with hand tools, it's not particularly different. It's just understanding the theory that can be a little bit challenging, and I promise I'm going to try and start making more videos on that to help people understand how that works. Now, the difference in a lime plaster and a lime mortar that you might have seen, we released a video a little while ago on how to make lime mortar with putter, is essentially the binders are the same, the aggregates can be the same. Again, we can add things, but that comes later. The difference in a lime mortar and a lime plaster or render is that we need to add something to key it together, a fibre. Now, traditionally, that would have been things like horsehair, goat hair, because, you know, one of the issues that lime has is shrinkage. You know, you expose it to the air, it starts like this, and it begins to shrink. This behind me a minute. So what we have to do to control that shrinkage is we have to add something that keys it together like that. So, traditionally would have been horsehair. I personally love hemp. I think it's a wonderful material. I think it's got a fantastic heat retention value. It's extremely cheap to produce, and it does have an historical precedent. The rope on the decks of the Victory and the Nelson's Armada sailed out with hemp rope. It's one of those unfortunate things where sort of modern people have hijacked hemp and made it this sort of like new age, newfangled thing. It's not. It's as historical as horsehair. It's as historical as hay. It's really quite a wonderful thing, and it's very good for the environment. It's very good as a binder. It's very, it's got millions of different uses, but for some reason it seems to be a bit taboo. So hopefully, if all the builders start wanting to use hemp in lime, then maybe Being Fuel starts stocking it, and we can stop importing, all kinds of crap to bond things together. So let's have a look at mixing. Now, the first thing we're going to do is get ourselves a little measuring cup. So, now this is the same one I use for the making mortar video. That's just a Lucozade bottle I cut in half so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. So, because we're starting with the easiest way to make insulating lime plaster, we're going to be using the, easiest binder to work with. Easiest in the sense of work, which is putter, which is a pre-slaked piece of lime that comes through a tub that you can work away with quite easily. You don't need to add water or anything like that. So, first things first, in here I've got 3 parts of sharp sand. So sharp sand is just literally a less well graded sand. So I don't know if you can see, it's got big lumps and things in it. So what I'm using this for is what we call a base coat. What's behind me? It's big, thick lumps and panels. So if you're working with something that's graded to 5mm, that's going to be perfectly sufficient, because you're not going to be working to like a standard gypsum plaster. You'll be working to millimetres, which we are going to get to. But for a base coat, we're going to be more in inches than millimetres. So 3 parts of coarse washed sand. Now I'm going to put in the lime putty. So I will show you. So lime putty comes in big tubs like this. This is from Cornish lime. Cornish lime are excellent supply. So if you watched any of the videos we've done, you'll see us taking the powders and the lumps and things and adding water and go through this exciting process. This has already happened, it's matured, it's already been slaked months before it's come to us. And it comes to us in this sort of cottage cheese type configuration. Now when you first get your lime putty, what you want to do, there'll be a layer of water on top of it, and the layer of water is there to stop carbonification, stop it setting. So pour that water away, or do what I do and save it, because I'm tight and I like a bit of free lime wash. Yeah. And then your putty will be pretty much, once you open the tub, ready to work with. One of the things that I will mention, is when you're done for the day working with lime putty, make sure that you put that water back on top of the tub so that it doesn't set. Right, so I'm just going to mix this together now. Oh, so what I should have said was, it's exactly the same as the previous video we made. It's 2 to 1. Sorry, it's 2 to 3. So that's 2 parts lime, 3 parts aggregate, like so. And we're just going to mix that around. Now obviously what I would do in this instance is I'd have done this on a much bigger scale, obviously depending on the amount I needed. And then I've chucked it all in a big tub, got the big mixer out and did it all a big whiz round. So, you can see, that's the base. That's just 2 parts lime putty with 3 parts aggregate. Nice. Now, if we just chuck this on a wall, what we'd experience is shrinkage. So it would stay like this, and then it would shrink and crumble away. So what we need to add is something to bond it together. And that's where the hemp comes in. What I'm actually going to do also is chuck this is the mix from the previous video. As you can see, look, it's sloppy. This is another reason why putty is not particularly favoured for making mortar. It's quite nice for plaster. It'll work quite well with it. So here I have this sort of soup type consistency. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 part hemp shiv, but I'm not. I'd recommend it when you first start measuring everything out. What I'm actually going to do is just chuck out a great big handful. And that, you can see, that's hemp shiv. That's essentially the stalk of the male plant that gets, I guess, thrashed and processed and comes to us. And then I'm just going to chuck that in there. Again, measure it out, and if you're not sure, I just tend to get it to just the consistency that I like, really. When it comes to a base coat, I think you're always better off over egging on your fibres, like a carpet. That's how I always say it. Get it chucked on like a carpet. And again, like we said in the other videos we made, practicality, workability is usually downstream of acceptability. So if you're working with something you think, God, this is, you know, it's like soup, maybe something's not quite right. If you're breaking your hands to trowel it on, like camel muck as we say in the industry, well, maybe you put this in a bit too much shiv or not enough lining. That's going to change if you start dealing with hot line plasters. That can be sort of a little bit more your fault, but because everything we're working with is sort of not pre-mixed, but it's pre-slaked. We should have enough water, you know, to make it into sort of what we want. Now, I'm playing with this here. It's got a lovely amount of hemp line shiv in it, but when I hold it up, I can't quite see the amount of fibres that I'm looking for. So, I'm just going to chuck it in a little line for it. So again, there's no real rule book for traditional or eco building. Everything back in the day was ad hoc. Everything was localised. Everything was, you know, I will build it with whatever I can get my hands on. And that gives us a fantastic degree of regional diversity in this country when it comes to architecture and building methods. So, if you're messing with something and you think it doesn't feel quite right, add a bit more, take a bit out, do what you want until you start feeling comfortable. As long as you're not chucking cement in or, I don't know, adding things that aren't necessarily historically accurate, well, you should be fine to make little amendments to what you're using here and there. Like that is looking a lot nicer to me. What we're looking for is, you're probably not going to get this. I'm probably not going to get this quite right because I ain't get it a good blitz with mixer. But we're looking for every little piece we all look. We want to see these tiny little hairs coming off of it. See? That's how we know we've got enough. Fibres to make sure it ain't going to shrink horribly. So, there we go. 2 parts to line binder, putty, 3 parts coarse aggregate, and I'd say I probably got to about 2 parts shiv. And that is going to provide you with a fantastically insulating lime render, plaster. I'm going to do another video on application on this little bit here, showing you a few bits of art, so stay tuned for that. If you like what we do here, please like and subscribe, and I'll try and find time to make more videos. Thanks for watching.